I'm Mari. Hope you're having a good day, and I hope this video makes your day just a little bit better. Alright, so we are going to be watching Womansplaining Men to Women Compilation 24 to 33. I hope you guys like this and we can be more informed. And by that, I mean me.
Deep into the Womansplaining Men series, I'm starting to get the big ones like, why do they always ask us to smile?
Ooh, this is like a really big one. Yeah, actually, I hear this all the time. Yeah, why?
Womansplaining Men to Women, episode 24. Ladies, I do not know why you keep doing this, but men are like 50 times more unwilling to do a chore if it is assigned through a passive-aggressive tone. And that's on principle. He does not want to reward that behavior. He wants the respect of being communicated to directly as equals. And I know what some of you are thinking. I shouldn't have to worry about asking him nicely because I shouldn't have to worry about asking him.
What? Okay, wait, hold on. That sounds so mean. What? Do people really think this? Now, I will say, in terms of like, you feel like you shouldn't have to ask for something, the only thing that I could think of is like, if you see a mess, just clean it regardless of who sees it. Like, if you see the mess, just clean it. You know what I mean? But I know sometimes, because I've had roommates, right, that are really messy, where they will see a mess and they will even make a mess. And I've watched them look at it and then walk away. And I'm like, yeah. And then they'll be like, oh, I didn't see it. I'm like, bull nonsense. You didn't see that. No. And I'm like, when I see a mess, I just clean it. I don't care. If you want to clean it, then that's awesome. And then I love you. And like, I will feel so much better if you do it. But like, if you just see it, just clean it. Otherwise, like, I'll clean it, like whatever. Like, yeah, it's annoying. But if I see that you saw it and then you didn't clean, I'll be like, wait, don't forget your mess. Here's a wipe. And I'll get like the little Kleenex and just hand it to them and then watch. I'll just watch. This isn't just for like, you know, how I'd imagine like a significant other situation. I do this to my roommates. I watch, I make them clean that, you know, very, very kindly. I'd be like, oh, the mess. Here's a little, here, let me grab a napkin for you. You just want to get that. What are they going to say? No? And then walk away? I'll clean it later. You know how much shame there is when you hand them the little tissue? Yeah, that's right. Play that 4D chess with me.
Look, I get it. I know that you believe that. And I'm just going to tell you, as someone who's been married for half a decade, yes, you do. You will always have different priorities. He will never know fully what you want. You will forever have to ask for things and advocate for yourself, or they will not be done. And you have to do it without being a jerk, or they will definitely not be done.
Well, that makes sense, yeah.
All right, so now that I'm starting to get pretty deep into the Womansplaining Men series, I'm starting to get the big ones like,
here you go.
Why do they always ask us to smile?
Yeah, why?
And yeah, I got you. Shortest answer is because most of us are dumb. I know I'm not a guy.
I might be dumb, but at least I'm not stupid.
But like in general, collectively, we're all pretty dumb. And for men, their most base level thought when they see a beautiful woman with the weight of the world on her shoulders is he just wants to see her happy. And unfortunately, a lot of guys just don't really have great game, so they'll just cut right to the chase and be like, smile, please. It's not a good move, but that's why they're doing it. But don't worry, there are still plenty of men who are much better at that craft. And if you meet one of these men and you happen to like him, my best advice to you is to let him take some of that weight off your shoulders. I mean, after all, you can't really blame these guys too much for wanting to see that beautiful smile.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can, actually, because it's not just men that ask me. I also have women. I have my mom, because I have RBF. And this is due to a neurodivergence thing. This is because of my ADHD. So I don't actually realize when I'm not smiling. And so I hate it when people ask me to smile because they say that, you know, I always look like I'm angry and upset. And I'm like, well, bro, I can't smile all day, every day. Like, that hurts my face, bro. Like, I just, you know, I can't help but look the way I am. That's why I'm an anime woman. So I always look like I'm smiling. So I don't have to feel like I constantly have to smile for people. It's really interesting, actually. I guess it makes sense on, like, why men would want a woman to smile. Like, that makes sense. However, I do feel like forcing a smile when you're genuinely not happy is not fun. and it's not healthy. So like if ladies, if you are having a bad day and some dude's asking to smile, just be like, I'm trying, man. I'm trying, just having a rough day. And then just carry forward. Like, don't let him make you feel bad. And don't let them belittle you. And don't let them make you feel like you're not enough because you can't perform like a monkey.
But guys, just don't ask girls to smile. They don't like it. Womansplaining Men to Women, episode 27. Ladies, when you give your man the cold shoulder instead of talking to him about whatever the issue was, you're just teaching him how to live his life without you. You might think he's suffering, but he's really just course correcting. And once a man changes course, he's gone.
Dang, that's rough.
Women, episode 28. Stop using breaking up as a threat.
Okay, yeah, like, what is up with that? Hold on, wait, what? Why do people do that? That's almost as bad as saying... I can't say it due to TOS reasons, but you know the thing when people say they're gonna unalive in Minecraft. Like, I get that. Like, why do people do that? That's manipulative.
If what you are saying out loud is, I'm breaking up with you, but what you mean in your head is, I want to be with you, but I want you to fight for me. Stop being surprised when they don't fight for you. Men are very literal. When you say you're fine, you're fine. And when you say you're broken up, you're single now.
True.
Whenever people use maybe we should just break up as a motivator to elicit some certain behavior, it always reminds me of Daffy's last trick from Looney Tunes. In this episode, Daffy is so desperate to beat Bugs Bunny as being the best magician that he eventually prepares the audience for a trick that can only be performed once. At which point he swallows a bunch of gasoline and gunpowder, swallows a match, and explodes for a final trick. That's exactly what you're doing when you use breaking up as an empty threat. You're trying to create this elaborate trick that's going to get this reaction that you want, but really you're just blowing everything up. There are no more tricks to try after that. So if what you really want is for him to put in more effort, for him to fight for you, instead of going straight to, I'm breaking up with you,
like a nuclear option.
I need you to fix this with me. If he knows you still want him, if he knows there's still something to fix, he can work with that. But don't let your man think he's single if you don't want him to act single.
I want to add on to that too. You can put so much effort into a relationship, but they have to also put in the work. If you have actually communicated, you need either more attention, you need more help, you feel like you're not spending more quality time together, you think that maybe like the sex hasn't been as like entertaining, whatever that may be, right? Whatever the issues may be, if you as the woman, if you are, or anyone actually, if you are communicating with your partner and you are communicating this, you are saying things that you are not happy with and how you want to work on these together, and do not belittle your partner, do not put them down, make them feel bad, but you say, hey, like, let's work on this together, I want to get closer in our relationship, and they still do not do it, then yeah, maybe you guys should break up, because clearly they're not putting in that effort and they don't care about their relationship as much as you do. Love is a choice, everyone. Love is a choice, and so it's not always up to the woman to communicate her feelings, it's also up to the man to communicate what is on their mind too. I know that feelings are hard for men to communicate, but men can still say what they want, all right? And you got to do that if you really care about your partner. It goes both ways, you guys.
Womansplaining Men to Women, episode 29, and fair warning, we might be making some people angry today. Because this one goes out to the I shouldn't have to ask, he should just know crowd. This one goes out to all the ladies who have left comments on my videos like, doesn't he have eyes? He does, and they are different eyes than yours. And the brain connected to it is wired totally different from yours too, so you two will be looking at the same space and see two totally different things. When you come home from work and walk into the living room, you may see every speck of lint on the floor, the balled up sock underneath the couch leg, and the can of Sprite behind the TV. But when he comes home from work and walks into the living room, he may dial in immediately to noticing that you turned up the thermostat 1 degree. We all have different priorities. And here's where I think...
What's up with that, by the way? What's up with the men and the thermostat thing? Like what's up with that? Why is that like a man thing? Can someone explain that to me in the comments?
Ego befalls us all. Us women, we really resent having to explain or ask for things that we believe should be obvious. And so we really resent having to say things like, I need you to do this, but in reality, I need you are actually the magic words that are going to get him to understand the assignment. At the same time, men are conditioned not to address the chores that they've already done because when they do, women tend to take it as them bragging or being passive aggressive.
Wait, what? Huh? Wait, what? I don't understand that. What? Oops, I muted it. Repeat that?
Not to address the chores that they've already done, because when they do, women tend to take it as them bragging or being passive aggressive.
Wait, what?
So what ends up happening a lot of times is men's effort actually becomes these silent chores that no one notices are being done because they just happen.
Oh, okay. I think I get it. Okay. I get it. This is like the nagging wife syndrome thing, right? Where like your wife or your girlfriend or your partner will only ever like acknowledge what you do if they like say it and then they do it, but they don't notice the things they do behind the scenes. Okay, so like easy solution for that. Words of affirmation. Words of affirmation is actually my love language. I like to lavish people in compliments. I like to let people know what I think of them. I like to let people know how much they mean to me and how much I appreciate the things that they do for me. That's not everyone's love language. And that's actually very hard for some people because they don't realize how powerful words are. They don't realize that if you, if you tell your partner, hey, I noticed that you took out the garbage bins or something. Like, thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate when you do that for me. Something as simple as that can change the course of any like relationship, even friendships, and even like business partners. Just showing like not showing, saying your appreciation towards somebody. You don't need to constantly lavish people in compliments. You don't want to come off as like fake or phony, right? But when you genuinely do appreciate a thing that someone does for you and you say, hey, you did this thing, I noticed it and I appreciate that. That goes such a long way. A long way. That's just how I like to be communicated with. It makes me feel appreciated when everyone in the comments say, Mari, your videos make my day better. It helps me go through a hard time. I appreciate the hard work that you do. I read those comments and I hold those close to my heart, you guys. Like, I really do. That stuff makes me feel really good. And that is my love language. That is how I like to be talked to. That's how I like to receive love. So I know that's not everyone's like cup of tea. But you can combine that with acts of service. So I kind of get what she's going with this. She's cooking a little bit here.
And this happens to women too. This happens to everyone. Whoever does the chore silently becomes the chore doer.
Yeah.
For example,
Me.
I got so used to my husband feeding the animals every morning that recently when he went out of town, the next morning I was like, why are the cats meowing at me so loud? He feeds the animals so regularly that I forgot they eat. This is all to say that you have to talk, you have to ask about chores because there are probably a lot of undiscovered efforts on their end too.
True.
You shouldn't have to ask for everything, but asking will always be a part of a healthy relationship.
That is true. I mean, asking is how you communicate. That is true. You gotta be like, okay with asking questions. I get that. No, see, that goes back to like what I was saying, you know? Like I said, say, hey, I noticed you feed the cats and stuff. Oh, I miss you. You're gone. You know, I noticed like I always appreciate how you like feed the cats and everything. And thank you for doing that. Things like that can just really help, you know?
Men are not and will never be mind readers.
I guess we are single today.
Oh yeah, she's gonna show him. So he either forgot or deliberately chose not to wear his wedding ring, and so she defiantly takes off her own, apparently deciding that their whole marriage is over.
Oh.
And she does film his reaction, which I'll get to in a minute, but before we get to that, let's address a couple things. First of all, there are a lot of things that you should not ever wear a ring for. Did you know that there is a thing called a ring avulsion, which is where something gets caught in the ring, and if there's enough pressure, it can completely tear off your finger, at least cause major damage.
That's true, yeah.
This is why machinists do not wear rings. I personally never wear my rings when I'm training jujitsu. Sometimes I just forget to put them on.
Yeah, no, for real though, that would be me. I actually can't wear a lot of jewelry. I don't have any piercings or anything like that because a lot of jewelry just really upsets my skin. I gotta find like metals that don't like irritate my skin. If you guys have any suggestions about that, comment some down below because I do want to try to wear jewelry at some point in my life. That would be really cool. But yeah, a lot of this stuff just seems to irritate me. I think maybe I can wear gold and platinum, maybe? I don't know. I gotta figure that out.
Canceled. Second, minus a couple insecure ones, guys do not care about the ring. If he is already loyal to you and he trusts you are loyal to him, then the jewelry is really irrelevant to that foundation for him. Men don't really dream about getting the perfect halo cut to match your manny. They don't even know what a halo cut is.
Then try to explain, like, hey, my job, I cannot wear this ring. It is not because I don't love you. It is because I do not want to lose this ring. I do not want to damage it. I will wear it when I get home. Something as simple as that. You're welcome.
That's why men's rings are so simple. They're not out here doing BuzzFeed quizzes on which ring most suits them. The ring to men is a very arbitrary point A to point B, and their only hope is to not fuck it up. But pro tip, if you're the kind of woman who can make a man feel like you would say yes to a macaroni noodle around a pipe cleaner as long as he was the man behind it, then he'll make sure you get whatever damn ring you want. But moving on, who wants to see how her little tantrum worked out? Alright, so first of all, he doesn't even notice. She has to shove it in his face.
He's like, okay.
He doesn't care. You know what he probably does care about? This. Are you kidding me?
Why is she
Never
doing
in
that?
10,000 years is my partner going to touch me like that.
Why would
so
you do
she's
that?
insisting in the comments that it was all just a joke. Hey guys, remember when Amber Heard said that shitting in her and Johnny Depp's marital bed was just a harmless
Wait,
prank?
what?
Could
Huh?
you imagine if it was a man making these videos and he literally laid hands on his wife because she forgot her ring at home?
Oh, true. That would not go very well. That man would get canceled. That man would end up in jail. I don't know, man. That's wild.
Clearly that marriage has more issues than just the ring, but look, if you are in any way basing the entire foundation of your marriage around something that could easily fall off your finger and go down the drain, well, that's where your marriage is heading soon too.
Dang! That was funny. Okay, all right. She saved herself there with the generalization. She saved herself with a funny joke at the end. Good job.
Men to Women, episode 31. If a man opens up to you about something that he's ashamed of or something that he's done wrong.
Wait, weaponizing Wait, what? People do that? That's messed up. I'm not gonna like this one.
Do not weaponize it against him. That was not for you to add to your arsenal of things to use against him in arguments later. Because when you do that, you're showing him that his feelings are not safe with you. You're teaching him that being vulnerable is only going to hurt him down the line, and he's not going to be the same guy after that. Womansplaining Men to Women, episode 32. Has anyone else noticed that wives are almost defiantly resistant to thanking their husbands for household tasks?
Really?
I see it all the time on this platform. Women are like, I'm not going to thank my husband for things that he is supposed to do.
That's also sexist. What? Is that like the female version of Andrew Tate? I'm not gonna thank my wife for doing things I expect a wife to do. What a traditionalist. Gross.
And look, I get it. I go into work every day, and when I do, there's not a parade in the street for me doing what these women love to call the bare minimum. My managers are under no obligation to thank me for doing my job. But when they do, I feel valued. Before I learned how to cook, my husband used to thank me for cooking when I simply made a pot of SpaghettiOs, and that made me feel valued. So you can have these opinions that you don't have to thank your partner, and you're right. But if you're not thanking your partner, they do not feel valued, I promise you.
That goes back to the love language stuff that I talked about, the words of affirmation and stuff. Like, those things are really important, you guys. Like, in general, that's why I always tell people, like, I appreciate when people watch my videos. Like, I appreciate when you watch this, the fact that you're even at this point of the video and you didn't click off. Like, I see that, and like, I always appreciate that. Like, things like that, letting people know, even if it sounds redundant, and I still say it in like every video, or I try to, because I know, like, it's important. You know, you never know who's gonna like listen to these words, and I hope that these words get through to somebody, someone, anyone, hopefully.
My husband changed our sun sheets. He
Wait, my husband changed our sun sheet.
doesn't understand why he needs to.
Stinky.
Huh?
Stinky.
Huh? I had to go to the comments to figure out what was wrong. Apparently the sheets are upside down. That's the right way, so the kid can see the dinosaurs. Again, I say, huh? It gets worse. These women honestly believe
He did this on purpose so you won't ask him to change it again. Most likely. Huh? Huh?
that he did this on purpose as weaponized incompetence. This comment, liked by the creator, says, if y'all think she should be happy just because he changed them, y'all should look for new husbands. I ain't gonna have my standards on the floor. Well, considering that looked perfectly fine to me, I guess I have to get traded out. I am a bad spouse. Mommy, why doesn't Dad live with us anymore? Well, don't you remember the sheets, Jimmy? She
Oh my.
Flip the whole mattress around. I am deceased. I cannot stress this enough. Ladies, redoing chores takes value away from your own life. I want you to really think about this, because every time you are redoing a chore based on preference, not based on need, you are devaluing your precious time.
True.
Every time you do that, you are telling yourself and others that this menial, trivial, tiny household chore that no one's ever really going to notice or care about is more important than finishing a project, reading that book you love, or even cuddling the partner you made this freaking kid with.
Yeah.
You're saying there is nothing that I value more than fixing this stupid mattress.
No, that's actually, I like this one. This one's probably my favorite one out of this entire compilation so far. I like this one. Yeah. Your time is the most valuable currency you will ever spend in your entire life. And the fact that many of you want to sit here and spend time with me watching these videos and listening to me yap, and you comment and I read those comments, like I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, it is the most valuable currency you'll ever spend. And so think wisely about how you want to choose your time. Do you want to choose your time being angry and upset over bed sheets? Or do you want to spend your time knowing that the bed sheets got done? You can go do something else that you don't have to worry about. Just a little food for thought. If you want to see the uncensored versions of these videos, then check out my Patreon, where I upload all uncensored content as well as some other videos on there. And let me know what your thoughts were down in the comments below. And there's anything else you'd like to see on this channel, because I upload every single day. And with that, thank you so much for watching. And remember, everything reminds you of something. Bye.